Boom, what it is, how is everybody doing? It's your boy Simba the Speaker here. Yes, your cleaning guide to cleaning business success. It's good to, I'm gonna say good to see everybody, but really can't see everybody. But once again, we're back with another video. If you're new to this channel, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. We drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. So be sure to look out for our videos as well. At the end of this video, if you got value from this video or you felt that I put in passion and effort to give you some value, hit the thumbs up button. And definitely please hit that thumbs up button so you can like as well. You can comment and comment below as well. Comment below in the video as well if you have any questions or comments that you want to leave. Now, there's something important I want to talk about within the details of this video. There are two important links that I want you guys to focus on. The first link is going to be a actual school community link. So if you're looking to actually get information and just be around others that are learning how to start, automate, and grow their remote cleaning business, you can feel free to join our free community as well. The second important link is our free consultation link. So if you're looking to actually start a remote cleaning business, maybe you have some questions, right? Maybe you have some questions about the business or some mentorship that we do offer as well. Feel free to click that link and we can do a free consultation as well, right? Maybe you're looking to start a remote cleaning business, even if you have a 9 to 5, because people do that as well. You're just looking to make extra money, put money in your child's college saving funds, or maybe you want to be able to take your family out to a vacation once, twice, or 3 times a year. And so having a remote cleaning business is a great way to make that extra money that will allow you to buy you that level of freedom to be able to do those type of things. Maybe you're just trying to pay down some debt, right? Everybody has their own reasons for starting a remote cleaning business. Nonetheless, we can help you get started. So feel free to book that consultation, join the community as well. Now, I always like to say this, but if you see me look left, right, and down, I have my monitors, my laptop, we are good to go. Now today I want to talk about how to build a team without losing profit, how to build a team without losing profit. Now the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because, especially when you're running a remote cleaning business, right? A lot of the limiting belief behind it that, okay, yeah, when you have a subcontractor model, or if you have a subcontractor model and you have some VAs that you have in your business as well. Sorry, y'all, just adjusted myself. That there is no room for profit. And so whoever says that is wrong, right? Because we have many people that are actually running the same business model and still making a lot of money and are profitable as well. But I do want to discuss this and talk about this a little bit so that we can debunk this myth, and we can go from there. So the first thing I want to talk about is understand where profit actually comes from, right? So your profit is not just what's left over, and your profit is not just what's left over. My apologies, y'all. It comes from pricing correctly, paying cleaners properly, controlling time and efficiency, and managing costs. So when we look at profit, right, and we'll just call it profit because we can go deep into the difference between gross profit and net profit, right? But when we're strictly talking about profit as well, pricing correctly, how much we pay cleaners, right? How long we allow cleaners to actually, well, how long cleaners take to actually clean. Let's say you're paying them hourly, right? It's different if you're paying them a flat price, but how long cleaners take to actually clean a property, right? Or the type of cost, the software cost, any expenses that we accrue actually to run our business, right? Those all will affect profit, right? Imagine, let's say someone makes $1,000 in profit, right? That's what they have left over. Imagine a company that has $600-700 in expenses to run their business versus a company that has $100 or $200 in operating expense to run that business, right? And so what we see is that they both can be profitable, but one will be profitable by, let's say, 800 to 900, and the other one will be profitable, around 300 to 400, right? And that's a big difference, especially when you get ready to pay yourself, right? That profit is very important. And so what we need to understand is that, right, it's yes, it's a team. Yes, you can build a team, without losing profit, right? And that is what we want to talk about today. But we need to understand like what causes people to lose profit, right? And so not pricing correctly, right? When we're underpricing, we'll talk about that a little. We'll talk about that a little over here. When you're underpricing, that causes you to lose profit, right? When you're not paying cleaners properly, we'll talk about this over here a little bit, right? Maybe you're paying them so much that you're keeping a little for yourself. That causes you to lose profit, right? Or let's say that you are working with a cleaner as hourly and you're allowing the cleaner to take a lot of time and they're dragging out the time, right? And now you're paying them a lot more than you expected, that causes us to lose profit as well. Another thing I want to add on, I always say that you should watch my previous videos, because a lot of times my previous videos build upon one another when it comes to the information that we talk about. And we talk about this in my previous videos, right? Making sure that if you're using hourly subcontractors, right, and that you're controlling that time, right, and you're making sure it's efficient. Because let's say that they do try to be quick and they try to get the cleaning done quick, right, and now you have to do a re-clean. Granted, everybody has their own way of doing it, right? So usually, subcontractors should be able to do a reclean within 24 to 48 hours if it's not good. But I know some people that do pay for the recleans. Or what if the cleaning is not good and they want a partial refund? Or they may, dispute the charge because they're not satisfied with the cleaning, right? All of this takes away from the profit. So we need to make sure not only are we kind of controlling that time, but we're controlling the efficiency of the cleaning, right? How effective is the cleaning? Based on the time allotted to get the cleaning done. And then once again, managing costs. This is very important. When I was in the remote cleaning business in the beginning, I had so much different expenses, right? The beauty and one of the golden things that we talk about when it comes to this business model is that the overhead cost is supposed to be low, right? Your operating expenses is supposed to be pretty low, and you can raise your operating expense little by little, but you want to tend, if you are going to raise it, it needs to make sense, right? You need to be raising your operating expenses only because it's helping you make more money. So even if you raise it, you're still making more money, so it doesn't, it doesn't feel like you're really losing profit. Because, right, imagine your operating expenses is $500, but imagine that $500 is bringing you $3,000-4,000 in profit, right? So it becomes a different story when $500 in expenses is bringing you $3,000-4,000 in profit, versus when 500 in expenses is only bringing you 700 in profit or 1,000 in profit. And now you have to kind of obviously take that operating expense away. You have to see what you're left with. So I wanted to add this here, right? Because I want people to know that, yes, building a team without losing profit, obviously that's important, right? And we'll talk about what that looks like as well. But also understand that it's not just the team. Because, for example, right, you can have a good team with cleaners, right? You can have very good cleaners, but if you suck at pricing and you have a lot of high operating costs, even if you have good cleaners, it doesn't matter. Like, what does it matter if you have good cleaners and you're underpricing a job, right? So no matter how good your cleaners is, no matter how many good subcontractors you have, if you're underpricing your jobs and you're paying them a lot more, because a lot more, or a bigger chunk, because of the fact that you're underpricing, then it doesn't matter how good your cleaners are, you'll always find yourself in a position where you're not left with a lot of profit. And so that moves us to our next point. Don't underprice to get more jobs. So this is a very, very, very big mistake, right? A lot of times, especially when business may be slow, um, we tend to underprice, or a lot of other cleaners tend to underprice just to get more jobs in. And when we're running a remote cleaning company, what I value and what I try to teach a lot of my students, what I try and what I do teach a lot of my students, is we're not looking for every booking, we're looking for the right booking, right? We're not looking for every booking, we're looking for the right booking. And so when you've been in the game long enough and you've closed bookings that have been 1,000 plus, 500 plus, 800 plus, 1,200 plus, right? You start to see that you don't need a lot of small bookings. Now, is that a way that you could go? Yeah, it is a possible way. I won't deny that's not a thing, but it's more of a headache when you're sitting there trying to take a bunch of jobs. You're trying to get a bunch of yeses so that you can get many clients in the doors, and the only way you're able to do that is to underprice. And one of the many things that I learned is if everybody is saying yes to your price, you're probably not pricing the right price. You shouldn't be looking for just a plethora of yeses, right? Right, and I, an argument can be made about the value offered, and we won't go too deep into that, right? But because we talk about it a little bit, and I'll talk about that. But the point is, and that's even then, if you have a lot of value within your offer, you should still be able to price. But as we'll talk about that going, like I said. But nonetheless, you don't want to be in a position where you're underpricing so that you're getting so many clients, right? So you're getting all these clients, but it's not really working in your favor. Like the thing is, it's a numbers game, right? So the more clients you are bringing in, let's say you're underpricing, you're getting a bunch of yeses, you're putting yourself in a position My apologies, excuse me. You're putting yourself in a position to have it where maybe your cleaners are being burnt out and now they're too tired. A lot of time, a lot of bookings that get underpriced, the clients tend to be headaches because they want a low price but they want a certain level of cleaning, right? Or once again, you underprice, then even if things go well, by the time you pay your cleaners, there's nothing really left for you, right? And so it's a big mistake because lowering prices leads to thin margins, which obviously causes, I don't want to say thin margins causes to lose profit, but by having thin margins, you have very little bit of profit. And then once again, if you have thin margins and something happens and it causes you to have to pay up, then you're really gonna lose profit, especially when your margins are thin. Overworked cleaners, this is what I was talking about as well, right? You're underpricing, so you're getting a bunch of yeses and you're bringing a bunch of bookings in, but now you're overworking your cleaners. And what will tend to happen is, especially when you overwork your cleaners, you might be in a situation in which maybe the last one or two houses of the day the cleaner doesn't do very well on, and now you have to deal with recleans and potential refunds and disputes. And just because you had so many bookings and it seems good, right? You seem busy, but it's not really proactive, and it doesn't really help out the company as well, and it doesn't really help out your cleaners. And there's no room for growth, right? The reason there's no room for growth because, like I said, you're stuck on taking a bunch of these smaller jobs, right? You're trying to take all of these smaller jobs, and now imagine if you're continuously underpricing, right? And now you're known as the cheap cleaning company, right? And the problem is with being that cheap cleaning company is that in order to kind of get that brand away from you, then you're gonna have to obviously start pricing higher. But if you're known to be the low cost cleaning company, right? The affordable cleaning company, when people come to you and now you're charging a higher price, at that point they're not willing to pay because it's like, hey, I didn't come to you because I wanted to get high value, and even though it comes with a higher price, all your reviews say that you're affordable cleaning, right? And so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for affordable cleaning. At that point, your pricing doesn't match the branding that you're going for, and that can definitely stunt the growth as well. And so instead, sorry guys. Instead, you want to price based on value. You want to price based on value. And so you want to make sure that you are offering value. What does that look like? It looks like good communication. That looks like multiple notification. That looks like punctuality from cleanings. That looks like great cleanings. That looks like making sure that cleanings are on time. They're not taking a lot of time, and the quality is still good, right? If you know that you offer that type of value, if you know that you offer that type of value, then you can actually obviously price based on that value, right? And so it may be $400, $500, $600 for a certain cleaning, but someone that values those things: communication, punctuality, good cleaning, consistency. My apology, consistency is going to be willing to pay that price. They're going to be willing to pay that price. Now, and what I want you to do is, if you're pricing based on value, which means you should be pricing high enough, that allows you to include margin from day one. From the minute that you are charging, you need to keep that margin in mind, right? You need to keep that margin in mind, and that could be something like this, right? I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to make a 50% margin on something, right? And so let's say you have a 1-1, and okay, it's probably gonna take, you're probably for a 1-1 gonna have to pay a clean $100, right? Depending on how that goes, right? So then you would know, okay, if I want to make a 50% profit margin on that, right? At that point, if a 1-1 is gonna cost me about $100, then I'm gonna at least have to charge 200 for it, right? Or maybe you may say, you know what, just in case I'll charge 230 for fees and whatever, right? So if something does happen, or maybe if I do gotta pay, if it is a little bit more dirtier than I expected, then even if I'm paying my cleaner 125, I'm still keeping $100. So what you want to do is you want to be able to include that margin from day one, and that means, and this is why test cleaning, once again, going back to my previous videos, this is why things like test cleaners are very important, because they allow you to understand like how much time it's gonna take for a cleaner to do something, and it just allows you to be able to price better. So just make sure that when you are coming up with your pricing, that you're including your margins in from day one. So from the jump, okay, all my pricing leaves cushion for me to make a good profit. Just pricing as you grow. Look, the honest truth is, when you are running this business, right? Let's say you run a remote cleaning business. Once you start getting into 200, 300, 400 5-star reviews, 4.9 stars reviews, people know that you are a credible company, and majority and the right clientele knows that you're probably gonna cost, and they're willing to pay for it because they've known that you are credible, and so many people have used you that you're still in the game. Like, hey, he has 400-star review. He's killing his industry. Like, I'm not looking to book him because he's cheap. I'm looking to book them because I know they're gonna do well, right? And so adjust price as you grow, right? As you grow, as you get more contracted, as your operating expense grows, right? As your reviews grow as well, you can adjust your price, right? And you can kind of dictate how you want to do that. Some people do it by percentage. You may say, you know what, this year we're going to go up and price 5%, 3%, 10%, right? And so that is based off, your own perception. And the cool thing about this, sorry, coffee does this to me all the time. The cool thing about this is now that we have things like ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT and say, hey, my operating expenses has went up $200 or $400. I got these many cleaner teams. I went from 100 reviews to 250 reviews. How much should I raise my prices by? Excuse me, y'all. So with that being said, even if you're unsure on what you should raise your prices by, now we have things like ChatGPT and Gemini and AI that if you let them know, I have this much more reviews than before, I have this much more cleaners than before, I have this much more credibility, I've been in the game for this amount of time and whatever, ChatGPT will do its actual thing and break it down for you like, hey, this is what your prices should look like now. This is how much you can raise your price, in which you can still keep your clientele, but it still reflects the value and the maturity within your company as well. So, for the sake of time, I want to go to this last one. Set a healthy pay structure. Your pay model must leave room for profit, and we talk about this here, right? Pretty much pricing. So now, first we were talking about pricing, and now we're talking about pay. Oh, I need some water. Ooh. First we were talking about pricing. Now we're talking about paying, right? So, for example, if your job is $250, cleaners get $125 to $150. You keep $100 on $125. Then go back to what I was saying. Include margin from day one. You want to make sure that you include in this margin. So that remaining amount funds marketing, tools, growth, and obviously profit, right? Making more profit, because all of this leads to more profit as well. So what you want to do is make sure that you're setting a healthy pay structure, right? If the job is $250 and you're paying your cleaner $200, you're only left with $50. $50 is not going to be able to cover marketing, tools, growth, and profit, right? And so what we want to make sure that we're doing is that we want to make sure that we're still paying them enough where they feel like they're getting what they're owed, right? But at the same time, that there is enough money for us so that we can continue running the business. Because at the end of the day, a cleaner can go clean properties and go work for another company. You still have to make sure that your company is being able to be ran, and you have enough foundation to be able to run that company and successfully keep it going for as long as you want to keep it going for. And so with that being said, that doesn't mean cheat out a cleaner, right? That doesn't mean like if the job is $250, only give them $70, right? You still pay them enough to the point where it makes sense and they want to continue working for you, right? Because if you pay them little, they're either one, not going to want to actually work, with your company anymore, or two, when you do have them go do the cleaning are going to be horrible. And so with that being said, you want to make sure that you still have a healthy pay structure in terms of giving them enough pay where they're satisfied and it makes sense for them. And at the same time, make sure that there is enough money left over for you. Once again, including that margin from day one, make sure there's enough margin for you as well. So with that being said, that brings us to the end of this video as well. So with that being said, if you got value from this video, guys, I would appreciate you guys if you guys hit the thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. Once again, if you're new to this channel, hit the bell notification. We drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Once again, I'm going to continue dropping these videos and continue giving you information. Don't forget to join the free community. Don't forget to join our school community. If you have any questions, do not hesitate. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Book that free consultation as well. And honestly, we are going to see you guys all in the next video. Peace, love, and happiness.